yesterday, I gave you an amazing gift. And in fact, not just yesterday, I'm going to pull up my notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. For the last 2 days, okay, so Wednesday and Thursday, so yesterday and the day before yesterday, I told you I was going to give you 5 beautiful gifts to conclude this gratitude journey. And one of the gifts I gave you, the gift I gave you on Thursday, on Thursday, why not? Let's start from yesterday. Was about the power of your words. And if you haven't watched the Power of Your Word video, if you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, it's right here, the link that is popping up right here, right now. You can go watch the Power of Your Words. However, if you are watching us on YouTube, just go down to my personal profile, and it's the very next video after this video, okay? The very next video, that's the Power of Your Words that happens yesterday and the day before yesterday. My God, my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it. The day before yesterday, we talked about picking your battles. Picking your battles. And again, it's the 2 videos below this one. So go ahead and scroll down my personal profile and you will find the power of your words and pick your battles. And tonight, guess what? Guess what? Tonight is the 3rd out of 5th gifts that I'm going to give you. And why am I saying that these things are gifts? Why am I saying that these things are gifts? Well, my friends, it's very simple. You see, I do this for a living, okay? If you haven't noticed, I'm a public speaker, a global preacher, a global ambassador of well-being, and this is what I do for a living. This is my full-time gig. See, I don't work a single day in my life because, well, first of all, I love doing what I do every day, that it does not become a job. It becomes my passion project. It becomes my purpose in life. It becomes my mission. So hence why I don't work a single day in my life, because I enjoy what I'm doing so much that I see it as my passion project and my baby. You know what I mean? Have you had any of those passion projects that you care so much about that you're like, this is my baby and I got to take care of it no matter what? Well, my friends, because I do this for a living, I do have online programs available, which I'm not about to tell you here because that's not the purpose of today. But I do have group programs, personal programs, and I also work with companies who want to bring a different perception into their workforce. For those individuals who want to embody mindfulness, a lifestyle which allows you to live an extraordinary life, I also work one-on-one with individuals. But I also host a lot of group programs through the year that allow me to reach out to all of those that have perhaps a smaller budget, and so I make it available. I make myself available to them as well. So you have an opportunity to work with me no matter what, okay? And those programs, the reason why I'm telling you is because the last teachings that I gave you on Wednesday, Thursday, and for the next 3 days, including 2 nights, are part of my paid programs. You see, are part of my paid programs. So I'm giving you a little teaser and giving you a little sample of what I teach in my programs. When I am in front of 5, 6 people, 10 people, you name it, when I'm delivering the message, of course, I go for a longer period of time than just 10, 15 minutes, right? Because right now it's just a teaser. But those that work with me sometimes work with me for weeks, months, and I have clients who have been working with me for 12 years. Different business, okay, I know, but still. That just talks about the loyalty that my clients have and how much support they receive from me because we're still together in a business relationship after 12 years, right? So my friends, are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Woo! Are you ready for it? All right. So for today, I'm going to continue on a topic that I also have a video called From Trauma to Triumph, and you can see the link right here on your YouTube account right now. From Trauma to Triumph. And that video was posted about a week ago on my Facebook profile, and it's what is called From Trauma to Triumph. And this is the second part per se of this video, not necessarily part one, part two, but really more like a sequence of events. What happens after, right? Because when I was talking to you in the previous video, and you know, I shared with you what happened to me and how I injure my brain by experiencing a traumatic brain injury. Okay, well, my friends, today I want to talk to you about something completely opposite but equally important, because it's not about me experiencing the concussion, but now it's about me taking care of me. Ooh. And what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Let's not keep the suspense on growing here. I'm talking about self-care, my friends. Tonight, I'm gonna be talking to you about self-care. I want you to know, I want you to see, I want you to experience the opportunity that you have by working in yourself when you are taking care of yourself. And that becomes so powerful, it becomes so unreal to know that you have an opportunity to really take care of yourself. And you believe me, I want to debunk a few things here before we get started into the topic, okay? I want to debunk. Basically, I want to bring the truth to your attention, okay? When most people listen to the word self-care, one get to immediately think of a few different things. In fact, let's make this interesting. Let's make this more engaging, okay? When I say to you self-care, what comes to your mind? So drop it in the comments below. I want to know, I want to read, I want to see what comes to mind when I use the words self-care. So go ahead, drop it in the chat, and let me see what the word, or what does it mean to you when you hear the word self-care, okay? And while that is happening, I'll tell you, my friends, that self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not a luxurious thing that only happens when you go on a trip and you're staying at a 5-star hotels and you're gonna practice some self-care, because now you have access to the spa, now you have access to the massage therapies, now you have access to the pedicure, to the manicure, to the hairdresser, you name it, whatever, right? And while yes, all of those are portions, there are different ways to practice self-care, I'm here to debunk the fact about self-care. Self-care, my friends, is as simple as going for a walk around the park. Whoa, baby. You didn't expect that, did you? Mic drop. It's as easy as going for a walk with your dogs, if you have dogs, or with your spouse, or just by yourself. Self-care is the practice of taking care of yourself. It's not what Hollywood intended to showcase with self-care only. It's not what the movies are showing you that you should follow in order for you to have self-care, or what the trends that they share and they say, self-care Sunday. And so what? Am I only taking care of myself on Sundays? And what about the rest of the week? Does my body does not require constant care every day? Right? So it's one of those things that is like, no, my friends, self-care is the practice of taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, taking care of your heart, taking care of your needs, taking care of your emotions, taking care of you, plain and simple. You know, it's not so much about just getting your hair done or getting pampered at the spa. And while those things are awesome, and yeah, sure, they can be very relaxing, there are many different ways to practice self-care. I'll give you another one that does not require a lot of effort besides going for a walk. Well, somehow I lost all of my books here. Ah, here's one. Another way to practice self-care is to invest in your development by reading a book that will bring you satisfaction, growth, empowerment, that is going to raise your standards. You know what I mean? That is another example of self-care. And just like that, another example of self-care is going to sleep early, knowing that your body's tired, listening to your body and paying attention to what your body's telling you. Whoa, come on now. Come on now. Yes, yes. You know, if you are not taking care of yourself, if you're not listening to what your body is telling you, you, my friends, are losing on huge opportunities to improve yourself, to shift you around, to shift your life around, your health, your mental state, your physical state. So that's why it's so important to take care of yourselves and to take action accordingly. As you listen to your body and your body's telling you what's going on, what's in front of you. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you acknowledge it first. So in other words, you identify what your body is telling you. You identify what your body is showing you, because a lot of the times your body's going to start showing symptoms of tiredness, symptoms of fatigue, symptoms of dehydration or pain or others. And usually those symptoms happens because your body is trying to get your attention. That's why it's happening. You know, it's not because you didn't put on an extra layer when you went out. It's not because you didn't eat your veggies. You know what I mean? Sure, you have to eat properly, and that's part of self-care. Eating a nutritious meal, taking care of yourself, taking care of your cravings, right? So those are many, many examples of what self-care happens. Now, I'm gonna tell you something here. A long time ago, as you might have guessed, a few years ago when I started the concussion recovery protocol, and I started to work with some of the therapists, right? The occupational therapists, I should say. There was a group of us, 6 or 7 during this class, and one of the ladies asked the occupational therapist. She asked her, "Is like, how do I cope with the symptoms that I'm facing, right? How do I cope with post-concussion syndrome symptoms?" Ooh, that's a long word. But, you know, how do I cope with the emotions? Or how do I cope with filling the blank, right? And then she said, well, first of all, acknowledge it. That's why I said identify, acknowledgement, same thing, my friend. Acknowledge it and identify what's triggering a pain, what's triggering a discomfort, what's triggering the negative feeling, like what's triggering, right? So identify number 1. Number 2, and you see the sequence and the sequel as well, how it all makes sense for the last several videos I've been talking to you about. Because these strategies, my friend, changed my life, and I'm gladly giving them to you, because not only do these strategies apply for post-concussion syndrome, but also it applies in many other aspects of your life, okay? So once you have identified and once you know what's causing the pain, so keep track of it, write it down, what's causing the pain. So when you know what's causing the pain, you can take care of it by practicing proactive self-care. In other words, I'm putting it in layman's terms, by taking care of yourself, plain and simple, guys, by taking care of yourself. You know, we have, all of us have something that we call threshold levels. And threshold levels are different zones where you start from the same zone, you go to the caution zone, then you go to the avoid zone, the red, yellow, and the green zone, basically like a traffic light per se, right? But these thresholds that you see right here on your screen right now, it applies for not just emotional or physical pain, but again, it applies for many different things. Threshold levels could easily be applied into your work, into your everyday life. Like, for example, are you performing at your best? Are there symptoms, things that are showing that you should be modifying? So then we go into the caution zone, or you should be avoiding, all these other things that are happening, right? So what the threshold levels is, and being proactive about your self-care, my friends, I'll tell you here how I connect the dots, okay? Tell you how we're gonna connect the dots, because it's so important. So important that we identify what's causing the pain, the discomfort, the issue, or you name it. Write it down, acknowledge it, and write it down so you know what triggered that cause, what triggered that pain, what triggered that effect, okay? And there, take a proactive approach. Take care of yourself. In other words, if you know that you need to lay down, then lay down. If you know that you need to lay down, then lay down. Yes, I said it again because it's as simple as that. If you know you have a headache and you've been staring at your computer for the last, I don't know, 10, 12 hours straight, like sometimes it happens for many of us, right? Because you're just going and busy and working and working, and we sometimes forget to take breaks, right? We can also forget to take breaks. So next, you know, your back is sore, your butt is sore, your hips are sore, your entire body's like, come on, man, give me a break. Well, you see, now you're identifying that your body is sore, and then you obviously know what caused that. You know that what caused that was the fact that you were probably standing or sitting in front of your computer for too long without taking a break. So the proactive care, the proactive approach, how we connect the dots, okay, it's something as simple as on your cell phone, schedule a timer for every 45 minutes. 45 minutes, your timer goes on, then you get up, you stretch, you move a little bit, you go to the bathroom, you get a snack, you get some water, you stretch, you clear your mind for about 5 minutes, and then come back. And then you can carry on what you're doing. But you see, you know what you need to do, and that means that you have to take a break. And by you taking a break, you are decluttering your mind. And that, my friends, is going to take us to the topic that I have prepared for you tomorrow. The topic about living a mindful life. But I am not going to give you much more details about tomorrow's topic, but it's living a mindful life. And that's just going to leave it at that, okay? Because we want to make sure that we are understanding how self-care applies here. Listen, nobody knows your body better than you do. No one. Not your doctors, not your chiropractor, not your massage therapist, nobody. Nobody knows your body better than you do. And that's why it's so important that you, my friend, take care of yourself. And you put as a priority your self-care on your to-do list. And your to-do list, make sure you prioritize your self-care at all the time, my friends, because it's so important that you know that by you taking care of yourself, you can take care of others at so much important, at a better pace, right? At a better pace. And like I told you a few days ago, when you're traveling and you're going on a plane and you're catching your flight from point A to point B, and you're waiting for the plane to take off, and the flight attendants are giving you instructions about the fly, the exits, and you name it, they come into a place that they said, if the mask pops down from the cabin, you grab it first. You grab the mask first and you secure the masks first before you help other people, before you help others. Because they want to make sure that you are functional. We want to make sure that you are getting the oxygen that you need before you start taking care of other people, before you start helping other people. And that, my friends, it's a beautiful reminder of how our self-care should come first, should be prioritized, should be there and there. Because your health matters, your safety matters. Your wisdom matters. You matter, my friends. You matter. All of you. Each and every single one of us matter. So by us practicing self-care, you know what is going to happen? You're going to perform better. You're going to perform better. So here are some of the lessons I learned that I have been able to see and to witness. And we're going to conclude with this, okay? But some of the lessons I learned, my friend, is to be generous. Don't be stingy with your self-care. Don't just go read the book for a minute and say, oh, okay, I got to go because now I got to go into my cell phone. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy with your self-care, okay? I cannot reinforce that enough. So that's number one. Number two, if you're ready for it, you better write this down if you want to, right? Number two, You cannot always be in such a rush. This is the time where you're practicing self-care. Like I said, don't be stingy. So step 2, don't be in a rush. Enjoy it. If you're already reading a book that you've been meaning to read for, I don't know, who knows, 3 months, 6 months, a year or something, then spend the time reading the book. Invest the time in reading the book. Don't be in a rush. If you're practicing meditation, don't be in a rush to get up and jump. If you're practicing, like in my case, I practice Tai Chi, yoga, and meditation pretty much every day. Sometimes I might skip one, sometimes I adjust the other one, but I compensate at the end of the week anyways. But sometimes I have noticed that if my dog hasn't go out to the bathroom before I lay down on my mat to practice yoga and Tai Chi, okay, then my dog is rushing me. He's like, come on, come on, come on. So I'd rather take her out first so she can be out of my hair per se, and then she can take care of her business. And then by the time we come back home and I start my Tai Chi and meditation and yoga practice during the first portion of the day, then I know I'm not being rushed by my dog's needs, because she can get very hyper, believe me. But if I don't take care of that, if I don't set the environment right, then I know I'm not even going to be enjoying my time, because I'm going to be rushing to get through it so I can go take my dog out. So what does that mean exactly, and how do we cope with that? How do we go about that? Well, you set timers. You set timers. You set timers where you allow yourself to say, hey, I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes taking care of myself, and poof, basically leave me alone. Right? Leave me alone and allow me to have some much deserved self-care time. And my friends, unfortunately, we have come to the end of today's live stream, and I know there is so much more to know, to read and whatnot, but I look forward to seeing you tomorrow during tomorrow's live stream, where we're gonna be talking about mindfulness. I'm gonna share a story with you about mindfulness and how I came about finding mindfulness, and that has allowed me to live an extraordinary life. It has become a lifestyle. It has become part of my journey, has become part of my everyday life. And that, my friends, is just an amazing, amazing lifestyle. So I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, stay in power, stay beautiful. And before we wrap up, we're just gonna finish with this.